Been taking care of my body this week, feeling pretty good. I like Hangtown a lot. It's a good track, a really good racetrack, kind of old school bit. Gets pretty beat up, so looking forward to it tomorrow. Good to have you back here, TWMX. Let's go. I'm stoked. I was looking at your badge and I was like, what? Is that legit? And it's legit, so welcome back. But yeah, we're feeling pretty good. Got a lot to build off of, and just keep her consistent this year and keep shooting for the podium and get some race wins.
So when it comes to like the West Coast versus the East Coast, especially the track difference, the first 2 rounds, pretty dry, slick track. Then you're going to jump into the loamy dirt. Is there a personal preference for you between the two kinds of stuff?
Oh, I would say we all like the loamy dirt. It's always makes for some fun racing, a lot more lines. You know, last weekend was Paula. It's pretty average track. This track, like I said, is a bit of a better old school racetrack. And but yeah, once you go east, get that loamy dirt, bring some excitement to the racing, eat some roost, and try to stay out of the roost. But yeah, we like that loamy dirt for sure.
The whole gas team is pretty good this next week.
Yeah, I think you know, we have Frankie as team manager now, which is really good. Both boys got top 10 in the 250 class, which is positive. And like I said, I think all of us, it was quite a quiet day for the team, but a lot to build off of. We got a lot of room for improvement, that's for sure. So all in all, good weekend, and looking for a better weekend here in Hangtown. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, we're feeling good. Round 2, I guess, first official rookie season. I did the last 2 rounds last year, and obviously the full supercross season. But round 2 here at Hangtown, finally feeling the heat a little bit. Last weekend was rough for me. Made some big changes to the bike this week, so we're looking forward this weekend.
What kind of changes do you kind of go through with your team?
A lot of suspension testing. The bike just felt really rigid and all over the place last week. So some big changes, kind of settle it down. Finally feel like I can turn the bike, so that's a plus. We race regionals here and all sorts of things, and same with Paula. Paula's 2.5 hours from my house. But I look forward to getting to the East Coast tracks just because I haven't been there, you know, just kind of learning everything and just the experience.
Yeah, not really too much changes suspension-wise. A slight change. Made a little gearing change to try and help me get off the line. I'm a little bit of the heavier set of the 250 class, so with the deep starts, it's kind of tough for me to kind of keep the bike in the revs. So tried to make a little bit of a change there. We'll see how it works out, and yeah, feeling pretty good.
Did you run that battle tire they were doing last week?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like you almost have to run it just because of the start, you know. So I think this weekend, I would imagine we won't be on the paddle this weekend just because they typically don't rip the start as deep, and the track is pretty really even though Paula gets hard packed, there's still a lot of sandy areas that you can get into, and the paddle works well. So really in Paula, it was only 2 or 3 sections where you really were fighting that paddle tire.
So coming from when you're on the West Coast round, these tracks are pretty dry, like you're saying, and maybe those tires are the best. Are you looking forward to jumping on the East Coast and getting back into that loamy dirt? Do you think you're kind of better there?
Yeah, I think it kind of depends. I'm not a big fan of how loamy and soft redbud is, but some of the other ones that have that kind of soft top with a little bit of a harder base, I kind of like. So, but overall, I don't really feel like, one track or one type of dirt suits me more or less. I feel pretty good on these harder pack tracks, and then as we go back, I really like Millville and those tracks too. So.
The start's pretty important. That's what we're kind of focusing on this week.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's long motos, so if you do come out 10th, 15th, especially this weekend, it's gonna be hot. A lot of people are gonna be struggling, I think. So, just try to be patient, but. If you get out front, it makes that first 10, 15 minutes of the moto so much easier.
I think Peter's got 9th overall and I got 10th overall, so both bikes inside the top 10. That's what I wanted at worst, to leave there inside the top 10, so we did that. I think going forward, top 6 to top 8 overall is the goal. Obviously we want more, but you can't get everything at once. So just working towards small goals at the moment, and yeah, it should be a good weekend. It's a hometown race, so feeling pretty comfy.
Any changes to work on anything this week to prepare for Hangtown, or is the track's kind of similar, I guess, to the dirt?
Yeah, once you get out of California, it gets a little bit different. So the California tracks, you kind of have that base setup of being soft, and yeah, I don't think you can change too much with your bike. We did make progress throughout the week, but I think it's just being uncomfortable in these tracks. Yeah, this is a familiar track to me, and I feel pretty comfortable here, so it should be a good weekend.
Do you prefer this style track, dirt track, or are you looking forward to the East Coast to get more into the loamy dirt?
I'm from out here, so it's tough. Like, I enjoy going back there. I've always done good going back to the softer, deeper stuff. So, yeah, I'm pretty 50-50 just because I ride dry, slick good, but also when we go back east, I do pretty well there too. So, I would say I like out here better just because I ride out here more.
Yeah, it was solid. Haven't raced outdoors in a long time, so it was good to get off to a solid start. I think there's definitely a lot of room for improvement. So yeah, we'll just keep pushing. I definitely struggled with the arm pump last weekend a little bit, so if we can get rid of that this weekend, I think we'll be in a much better spot. It's going to be hot this weekend, which is going to be awesome, and yeah, ready to go.
Did you run that?
Yeah, we ran at both motos. Yeah, it's not great, but it's definitely, you have to for the start, so just kind of deal with it on the track.
Probably this track's probably not going to happen, you think?
You never know. It depends how deep they till that start. You know, it's I wouldn't think Paula would be a paddle track either, but if they till the start deep here, then you'll definitely have to run it. But if they don't, then yeah, we might not have to.
Do you have a personal preference when it comes to like the West Coast tracks to the East Coast tracks, like difference in the dirt? You know, here it's very dry and slick, and over there it's a little bit loamy. There's a preference there?
Yeah, I definitely have a preference. I would say more of an East Coast guy. I grew up racing there my whole life, so I definitely have done better throughout my career on the East Coast. So I think if we can get back there with some solid results, then should be good.
Yeah, it was a bit of a struggle. We had a good, prep going into it, but I feel like we missed the mark a little bit on the bike setup, and yeah, just my lack of experience being in California riding there. It's hard to make up for in one day, so yeah, we'll work on it and be good for next year.
So that's kind of, when you say that, you're talking about the difference between the East Coast and the West Coast and the tracks, right? Like out here it's all dry and slick, and out there you got that loamy dirt. That's kind of one of my questions is, what is your personal preference when it comes to that?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up riding, the sand and like the loam, so I love that. That's kind of like, Red Bud, Bud's Creek. Honestly, the majority of them are pretty loamy. Just you gotta get to the first like two. So, yeah, well, whatever. I mean, I got another opportunity this weekend to learn and then try and be better. So I'm excited.
Yeah, definitely. First round was a picture-perfect day. 1-1. That's the dream first round. So we took that off. It was awesome. Yeah, obviously, I mean, we went off the track a couple of times, so they had to go look at all that stuff. But in the end, it's if you gain an advantage, and I didn't. So did the right stuff I was supposed to do, and that's why I didn't get the penalty. But yeah, that stuff got it handled. Overall, 1-1 at Fox. We're hyped. Got the red plate coming in around 2.
Do you feel like those eyes are on you, and when you're out there, and when you make a mistake like that, are you thinking about that? You can play close, make sure, like, I get back on here and I follow this rules, right?
Yeah, 100%. When I go off the track, it's right to thinking, how am I going to do it like 100% right? Because it's a split decision second. It's one straightaway, one jump you're missing. So it's kind of a split decision. You got to like, all right, what do I got to do to make this like where it's legal, you're not getting in trouble. You always got to, kind of throw something in there where you're coasting, try not to roost. It's hard, trust me. When you go off the track, it's kind of a fine line on what you're supposed to do and what you're not. So the whole time you're trying to think, how do I do this right?
That's a lot to think about in a split second, literally.
Yeah.
Now, being back at Paula, you've been gone for a while, a couple years or so, and living on the East Coast, and you're kind of more acclimated to the dirt out there. When you return after being raised here, do you still feel like you're at home, or do you kind of feel like, oh, I gotta get back on the dry dirt?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been in California like consistently in like 2 years. So when you get back on a track, it's a lot different than kind of when I left. And Pro Nationals, they're so much different than your Tuesday normal go ride there during the week. Like, they till it deep, they build different jumps. Like, it's hard. I mean, it's obviously the home race, home track, but again, it's like, if you really think about it, it's not really that, because I've been gone for 2 years. Track's way different, goes the other way. They make changes for the race day, but I mean, again, it's the hometown, so I feel comfortable.
Now that you have best of both worlds, East and West Coast, do you have a preference now? Do you like the drier tracks like this, or do you feel like you can be faster than the loamy?
No, I'd say I prefer going back east, like a Red Bud type track. I mean, Washougal's hard pack, but I enjoy that type of track. We got, yeah, Red Bud, Ironman. I like when I get in some deep tracks. It's nice to have some grip. Cali tracks are really technical. The West Coast is very technical track to ride, and I do feel like I excel a little better though when I get on a grippy track. So we'll see. All right, plan for tomorrow. Yeah, let's do the same thing as Paula. You know, come in, have fun, take off my starts, and yeah, figure out the race from there. But as of now, I got to get off the gate. Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, RC Hard Charger Award, that was definitely a surprise. I didn't even remember those were going on, so it's cool. Get noticed that way, but definitely didn't want to be on the ground. It was 2 consistent motos, I would say, from there on out, though. I feel like I rode solid, left some stuff on the table, but really was just kind of feeling it out the first round, and yeah, now we know really what to expect, and yeah, made some changes to the bike this week, feel a little bit more comfortable on the bike, and yeah, ready to get out here at Hangtown and send it a little bit more.
When you get a comeback like that, does that give you a boost of confidence?
I would say so. It was definitely tough. You know, towards the end of the moto, I got pretty tired after coming through the pack like that. You know, you got to exert a lot more energy to get around all those different guys taking the main lines and stuff like that. So yeah, it was definitely cool to see where I could come back to, and don't really hope to do it anytime soon.
Did you work on anything over the week? Any changes, or
just little changes with the bike setup and trying to get a little bit more comfortable. And we actually got to ride the Paula track, and they didn't really prep it, so it was definitely gnarly, and we could you know, test what we felt over the weekend a little bit and try to make that better. So I think heading into here, we got another California track. We should feel a little bit more comfortable out there and have a good weekend.
Yeah, something I'm asking a lot of the riders is that kind of preference between the West Coast and the East Coast. Those tracks out here just seem just really dry and messy. So
yeah.
When you go out east and you got that deep, loamy dirt again, it seems to be preference of yours as well. You like that kind of thing?
Yeah, just a little bit more to bite into, you know. It gets rougher, and you know, I feel like the tracks get more demanding that way. Here they can turn into a bit of a highway, but yeah, Paula definitely wasn't no highway last weekend. It was definitely rough, and it felt honestly pretty slow in some spots with all that they did, and like it felt pretty deep. So it just got super gnarly, and yeah, once it gets gnarly and then dries out, that's when it gets a little bit tough. So yeah, that's what we were actually testing on this week. So we should be better in that aspect, and yeah, just excited to get on a new track and get the season going. Thanks.
What kind of kid is this, dude?
Dude, we got the Danger X McDonald's. The collab.
The Happy Meal, dude.
The Happy Meal. This is called the Happy. This is not the Happy Ending, the Happy Meal, son.
So what we got here today is the 2024 Hangtown trophies for Saturday, June 1st. So we got the first place here, second place, third place. Of course, the first place has to be different than the rest of them. But you got fully movable links. Everything moves. You got a clasp in the back that's magnetic. It's for aesthetics. You know, you can wear it, but it's not really going to hold it up. But again, trophies. So
you handmade these?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me a little bit about the process and something like that?
It's chaos, pure chaos. Well, actually, this was going to be the original design for the first place trophies. Went away on a job and came back, keep working on these, and I realized I didn't like it. It wasn't first place worthy enough, so then I had to redo everything for these guys here. The process starts with the design, and then with these you got a lot of different layers in it, so it's a lot of thinking and kind of laying out which step's going to be first. Sometimes you actually have to work in reverse, so you have to carve everything out and then put everything back in. But yeah, there's a lot of hours into these. The design, 150 hours worth of design. And then the fabrication, there's like 50 plus hours of fabrication. These were the worst parts of it because it's the same thing over and over and over, and there's a lot of them. And then you have multiple different sizes. Each one has a bolt through it with a custom 3D printed sleeve that allows it to articulate. Yeah, I mean, it was stressful, very stressful, but for these guys and what they do, what they put on the line for themselves, for us as fans of the sport, it's more for them to hopefully look back at, you know, one day and be like, oh, that was this day. Because for me, it's not really about the money, it's more about the design and the passion of creating something. So if I can be a part of this sport, I would love to be. I'm an ex-racer. Nowhere near these guys' caliber, but just to be around this sport with this is, you know, just really awesome. So
I was gonna say the designs are so cool. I feel like first, second, and third place are just gonna be stokes either way, no matter what they get on. In the first place, it is a little different. It's got, was that the Constitution on there or something?
Yeah. I went with a little bit more of the American theme on this, especially in this climate we live in. You know, more America, and you know. But yeah, I mean, this first or the second and thirds, they're technically the same, other than the second. It does change a little bit of the design, but when I'm designing these things, it's not like, okay, I got to put more emphasis into the first place. It's every single one gets the same amount of attention, and you know, I don't want to pick favorites and be like, oh, the third place rider sucks. No, they're still just as gnarly as the first place guy. So to give these to these guys, whoever wins, it's just really cool to be able to be a part of the sport and give something to these guys that they don't have, I guess you could say, or you know, probably won't ever have. So yeah, it's more of a gift to them, I would guess you could say.
Awesome, man. Thank you.
Thank you, man.